once said, "Everybody is ignorant, only on different subjects." Welcome to McBain Moments. Alright, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Ignorance. This is a really hard subject for people to talk about because they hate the idea of being ignorant. But the reason is because too many people equate ignorance to stupidity, and that is inaccurate. In fact, I would almost say it's flat out wrong, but that's not accurate either. It's inaccurate. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge about a particular subject. In your life, you will become specialized in the knowledge of a handful of subjects. Or you'll know a lot of surface level information about a lot of subjects. And actually, you're going to end up with both. You're going to have a lot of subjects you'll have a surface level information on, and others you're going to have a very deep understanding of. But those with the deep understanding are going to be very limited. As an example for me, I think I can count the number of subjects that I have a deep level understanding of on one hand. I have maybe 5. Good ones are personal finance, World War II history, Roman history to a certain extent, although there's a lot of Roman history to learn, and my focus was more in the mid-period, like early imperial. Fencing, and motivational leadership. And the last one, I'm still figuring out all the nuance to, because that's a deep subject. Like, I know that I've learned more than a lot of people have, but I know there's plenty more to learn, and I have not learned nearly as much as the greats have. So you have these subjects that you know a lot about. And then you have a bunch of subjects you know very little about, but you might have a surface level knowledge. Like, you might have a basic understanding of how mathematics works. You might have a basic understanding of how certain historical events happened, or or periods in history. And history is a good one to really talk about because no historian has a deep understanding of all of history. And because there's so much of it to learn, you have to specialize in different periods. You know, like I said, I spent something like 12 years of my life studying World War II, almost to the exclusion of anything else. So I spent 12 years studying something that only lasted 38 to 45, so 7. 12 years, including the lead up, the causation, the tactics, the strategy, the weapons, the equipment, the uniforms, the different organizations, the militaries, the paramilitaries, the resistances, the different political theories that went into what created it, from monarchism to communism to fascism to Nazism to all of these things, because they're all different. All of them played a part, but they all have their nuances, which created the specific soup that became World War II. And so I spent a lot of time studying that, and so I'm very specialized in that. But because I spent 12 years studying that, I did not spend 12 years studying anything else. So I don't know very much about World War I. I got the basics down, and I understand the reasons that World War I caused World War II, but I don't understand, like, what created the Depression. Like, I got a surface level. I know the crash created the Depression, but what caused the crash? I'm not entirely sure. And finance is my bit. You know, what created all of the other historical events prior to and subsequent of? It's not my specialty. So, and I understand that. I am ignorant about those things. Similarly, you are going to have things that you are very specialized in, and the more you dump into it, the better at that one subject you're going to get, to the exclusion of other subjects. And that's okay. Here's what you do to resolve that. 1, always admit when you don't know. There is no shame in saying, I don't know. I don't understand. This is not my area of expertise. Okay? 2, find someone who is an expert in that category. Okay? So, I know a lot about World War II, not nearly as much on the Cold War, except for that small bit of it at the end that I personally experienced. And even then I was a child, so I really only have a rudimentary understanding of it, the emotional childhood idea of it. So I go to someone who understands the Cold War if I need information on that. See? This is why I love history. You can always block out periods. It's really easy to break down. But similarly, I have specialized knowledge in fencing. Not so specialized knowledge in boxing. If I want to figure out how to box someone, I'm going to have to ask someone who knows what the hell they're doing. I mean, I know that there are moves like the jab and the left hook and the right cross, and I kind of understand the mechanics of it, kind of. But if I went into a boxing match with someone who actually understands boxing, I'm going to look like an idiot because I don't have that specialized knowledge. But if I go to a coach of boxing and say, hey, I'm a fencer, I have a rudimentary understanding of martial arts in other fields because all martial arts are related, but I need to know how to box this person, and I get the training from them, I'm going to have a better understanding. So there's no shame in ignorance as long as you're, one, willing to admit it, and two, willing to find someone who can resolve that gap in knowledge. And so it's on you to find those people. And Napoleon Hill used to call them a mastermind group. You have people that you gather together to resolve the gaps in your specialized knowledge. And this works in anything. This works in business. It works in hobbies. It works in his history. It works in just everything. You know? You just got to find the right people. And I think that's what most people miss. They want to know everything themselves. And you can't. You don't have the time to learn it all. If we were immortal and we lived to the heat death of the universe, we would still not have learned everything there is to learn that other people know, because there literally isn't the time to know all the pieces of everything. There's just too much. This has been a McBain moment.